have myself, Louise Read, joining from Allica Bank, and everyone does get our name wrong. So please do not worry if we get called Alicia, etc. But I will always be correcting to Allica Bank. I joined the bank way back in May 2018 prior to it receiving its banking license, and have seen it grow from startup to where we stand today. As you can see, I'm partnerships manager here at Allica Bank. I work with accountant partners primarily, but I did just want to touch upon the importance of partnerships when it comes to businesses, and especially within the SME community. I think you'll all agree we're only as good as the people and networks we have around us. So I certainly try and make a point of going out and speaking to as many different people from as many different professions as I can. And I'm sure you all do the same, of which banking falls into that. And I just wanted to hand over briefly to my colleague, Olle Thompson, who is in our growth finance team, to provide an introduction. Over to you, Olle.
Morning all, hopefully you can hear me too. So as Lou said, Olle Thompson, I head up the relationship management for one of our newer products, which is the growth finance offering. I've been with Alica for nearly 2 years next month, and before that sort of 15 years in invoice finance, trade finance, inventory, and other sort of working capital products, which some for bigger banks, some for independent houses. So I've had quite a broad range of different types of business, different sizes of business, and yeah, really excited with the Alica opportunity, hence why I joined. So I'll probably discuss a bit more about my product in particular and field any other questions a bit later.
Great, thank you, Olle. So onwards, today's agenda, I won't bore you and kill you by death by PowerPoint. I'll give you a bit of an overview about Allica Bank and where we sit within the SME market. Challenges that I'm sure yourselves as business owners and founders have all faced in the UK banking market, and where Allica Bank tries to alleviate those issues and challenges for SMEs. And then we'll go from there. So without further ado, a bit more about Allica Bank. As mentioned, I've been here pre-banking license, but we did launch in October 2019, so just over 5 years ago now, coming up for our 6th year this year. Yes, time flies when you're having fun. We are a business bank, and we currently provide all of these things here for our business customers. Commercial mortgages, which I will provide more detail on later on into the deck. Asset finance, Olle from our growth finance team will provide more details of that, because obviously with the startup to stand-up network, growth is of a key focus for you all. And most recently on the lending side, we also provide bridging loans. Then over on our savings and balances side, we have business and personal savings accounts, and most recently our business current account. Lending, we're currently sat with 3 billion of loans to our customers, and deposits, we currently have 4 billion in customer deposits there, and our business current account customers at 6,000. Last year, we do like to shout about the awards that we've won. We have been named the Sunday Times' fastest private going company in 2024. We beat Jeremy Clarkson's Hawkstone Cider Company, which was a little win of mine. And also there you can see we are the fastest growing UK fintech in the Deloitte's Fast 50 Awards last year. So a bit more about where we sit in the market. I'm sure some of you will certainly remember way back in the day where every local town would have a banking manager, and no matter the size of the business, who you were, you would get access to a banking manager who helped you with your day-to-day banking for your business. Now, over the past 10 to 20 years, we've really seen those big banks take that service away from the localities and focus all their attention on the bottom left blue circle, the corporates of this world. They have complicated structures, but they also have big balances, and that's where they are focused upon, because there is a lot of money to be gained for the banks. Then in the past decade or so, I'm sure you've all heard of all the new challenger banks that have come into the market. They're great for startups. It's very easy access online, and they focus primarily on the red circles in the top quadrant there. Micro SMEs, startups, consumers. They handle that vast amount of people very, very well because it's quick and easy access online. But there is that awkward section, bang smack in the middle of established SMEs, the scale ups of this world. You've started up a business and it's grown and developed. Your business model has become more complex, and therefore your banking has also become more complex. However, there's not really a bank out there that is giving you what you need. You can go to an online bank and get easy access, but when something slightly out of the norm comes along, you've got no one to talk to help you with it. And trying to get a hold of anyone in the big banks, well, we've all been on those phone calls, even as personal customers, where you wait for 30, 45 minutes at best, and at worst, it can be hours just to get hold of someone. So yes, we found that established SMEs, as we call them, are increasingly finding their banking impersonal, inconvenient, and very poor value. And therefore, this is why Alica has been launched into the market. So just to touch upon that again, the relationship manager service that was of yesteryear has been withdrawn from localities. Businesses are finding very much that when they do go onto an online system, they're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole with their needs on lending, or they don't even get an answer at all. They're ripped off with poor service. They're not getting very much interest on their balances, and they're being charged high fees for using their bank accounts. And even more recently, I'm sure some of you may have heard of Nigel Farage's debanking in the press a couple of years ago. But what we are increasingly seeing is established businesses having their bank accounts closed for very unclear reasons and being left out at sea with their banking, which is obviously the last thing you want when you're trying to run a business. So this is where Alica has launched our business current account, which we also refer to as our business rewards account. Now, we're certainly not for every single business out there. The business rewards account has been designed for those established businesses, and by that, we're looking at those that have been incorporated and in trading for 12 months or more, and who typically keep a balance of £50,000 or more in their accounts at any one time. For those businesses which are scale ups and established businesses, we provide a current account that charges no monthly fees. The eagle eyed amongst you will be spotting that star there, and that refers to so long as you are keeping the £50,000 eligibility criteria within our bank. We also provide a current account that provides, as standard, 3.83% interest on instant access money within the current account. There are also opportunities for the business to increase that interest paid on their current account balance if, for example, they put through 15 online transactions a month. They receive an additional 0.5 booster the following month on their interest, taking that payment up to 4.33% interest paid back on current account balances. In addition to that, we offer cashback on our debit cards. So if a business spends £10,000 a month, they will receive 1% cashback. Anything over £10,000 a month spent on the card will receive 1.5% cashback. Both the cashback and the interest are calculated on a daily basis within the account and paid out monthly to the customer. So no hanging around until the 12-month anniversary of being with Alica to gain that benefit. We have UK-based customer support, but also one of our USPs from other banks is that every current account customer will have a dedicated relationship manager. So if you are a customer with Alica, you will have a contact at the bank, such as myself, with my name, email, and mobile number. You can call us up anytime and we will be there to discuss your business's needs, whether that's sorting out something on your current account, looking at growth opportunities and how you might like us to support that as well. And finally, here we do integrate with Xero and Sage to help with our accountant partners. So a couple of case studies just to bring those figures into life for you. First of all, with our onboarding, it is conducted by myself, no online forms for the director to complete for their business. And one of our accountant partners was onboarded within 24 hours of completing his ID verification and approving the application to proceed. Now, that is a personal best of mine, but I have here put as well that accounts are typically opened within 5 to 10 business days. But the point here is we are looking at days and weeks rather than months and months to open a current account for our established businesses. On the interest side, we have a property developer with us currently who has a very large balance of 1.3 million. But just from interest alone, they are making £50,000 in interest per year on their account with us because of that interest payment back. So for larger businesses, the cash balances and the rewards that come from that are sizable. And we also have case studies of some businesses who are using the interest paid on their account alone to provide items such as private medical insurance for their staff, which is huge. And it's just such a wonderful story to be able to tell. Finally, the cashback example here, we have a wholesale client who puts through a large amount of stock on a monthly basis, as you can see. They're making around about £1,400 a month in cashback alone on their spend that they would be doing anyway with any other bank. So again, we are looking at ways to give back to our customers and provide them with a service that treats them how they should be treated. We don't just do bank accounts, as if you'll remember from the start, we also do provide lending for those businesses that are looking for it. Here is a very brief overview of our lending, which, as Ollie mentioned at the start, we will share these slides and this session is recorded to take away. So we provide commercial mortgages for the borrower types listed there. Our loan size starts at 150,000 and goes up to 10 million for commercial mortgages. You can have a mortgage for owner-occupied property. And with that, obviously, you can see there that the finish time for our mortgage terms is up until the borrower is 80 years old, which is quite, I believe that doesn't always happen in other lenders. We also provide lending for commercial investment properties. So if you as the owner, as the borrower are not going to be based within the property. And also we provide investment mortgages backed by the government growth guarantee scheme. Alongside that, we also provide asset finance here. So for hard, medium and soft assets, say your business is looking for new vehicles, IT software, etc. The starting loan size is 20,000 and we go up to 2.5 million or 1 million for a single asset. Now, I work alongside our relationship managers on lending cases. So if anyone has any questions or wants to make an inquiry on these two items, then please do just reach out to me and I will be more than happy to introduce you to our relationship manager who will help with that. But as mentioned at the start, Ollie from our growth finance team is also here. And I know that this community is very much focused on growth for their business. So Ollie, I'd like to just hand over to you to provide a bit more detail about growth finance from Allica Bank, please.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Lou. So as Lou mentioned, very focused on the relationship side of the businesses. So growth finance was introduced 2.5 years ago and went live about 2 years ago with the focus of finishing off that working capital cycle that Alica offers. So it's a complement to the commercial mortgages team, the asset finance, but what we provide is a sort of live revolving working capital opportunity for businesses ranging from turnovers of a couple of million up to 50 million. So the facility is structured against the business's assets. So typically receivables, inventory, property, plant and machinery, and we will put those assets into what we call a borrowing base, which gives the customer their availability for the month. So most clients that we've got will dip in and out of that facility when they've received cash from their customers. They will pay down our facility to keep the fees lower, and when they need to pay suppliers or staff.
Ollie, just a quick question
of course.
on this.
Yeah.
Do you do anything on intangible asset finance?
We can do. Yeah, we can do. We will have a range of, assets. We're not particularly focused on the traditional assets, so it's a case by case, Ollie, obviously on the business that we're looking at. But yeah, it has been known, and typically our structures are used for, the growth side that we said, but they can be used for acquiring another business. So, using the business's assets to target another one, which, traditionally may not be funded by other lenders. So, as I say, our facilities in the majority are the working capital, but where we have had situations where term loans required or government growth schemes required, we've used that as more of a term loan where there's fixed payments each month.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. So yeah, as I say, we typically see deals coming in for companies that are looking to exit their existing relationships with the current banks. So the bank may have lost appetite in the sector. They may want to offload the client. We've seen a fair few of those. Employee ownership trusts and management buy-ins or buyouts. We've seen a number of those to, allow the outgoing management to take something out of the business, but also leave it in safe hands with people that have been in the business for a long time. So again, focusing on that relationship with the management and understanding the business needs so that we're close enough to the client that they can contact us, as Lou said, any time of the day and deal with any problems or opportunities that arise. And really the only other sort of thing to mention is we do our sort of collateral management in a very different way. So we don't operate trust accounts. We don't ask for monthly reconciliations on receivable finance products. And that is a real differentiator to traditional lenders who want their businesses, particularly on receivables, the client's customers paying into a locked account that is controlled by the bank. We've got that relationship with our customers, a bit more sophisticated, that we allow the funds to go directly to them and they can use that money within reason in their, working capital. We will monitor it on a monthly basis. And as long as there's what we call a headroom, which I won't go into too much detail, as long as there is a buffer, we're quite happy for them to use that within the month as they see fit. Okay.
Thank you, Ollie. I'm not sure if there's any questions at the moment on any of that, but if there aren't, or if there are, we can always circle back at the end as well. So just finally, next steps, if anyone has any questions, feels like they may fall within that established business section and are looking for a banking partner that can actually provide a named contact for their banking, or indeed looking at growth finance and opportunities there, please do reach out to myself and Ollie. We'd be very happy to have a chat with any of you. And that concludes today from Allica Bank, not Alicia Bank.
Thank you very much, Louise and Ollie. We've got a question here from Peter.
Hi, Louise and Ollie. Thank you very much. A very, very good presentation and clearly laid out what you can offer. My situation is that I will, when I can get some investment, then I'm going to be pre-revenue for 3 years, or maybe just 2 years. Would I be a candidate for Allica Bank?
For your day-to-day current account banking?
Yeah.
Yes. So I assume that you've already got 12 months trading behind you and incorporation by the sounds of it.
No, nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Interesting.
I'm going to go and borrow £1.7 million to build a demonstrator, basically, and then beyond that, for the next couple of years, I'd need probably 50 or 70 million pounds to actually finish off the projects and get certification. So I won't be the only revenue that would come in while we're doing the development, from going and doing feasibility studies and things like that.
Yeah.
But primarily will be pre-revenue for 3 years.
Right, I see. So typically we would look at a business that had been incorporated for 12 months or more. So at the outset, the official answer would be no. However, if you have a large cash balance that has been injected by a shareholder or investor to your business, but you are below that 12 months threshold, we can look to put an application forward, which would need to be signed off by compliance. So there's no guarantees. But what we would look to do there is the standard application details. We then also look at the ownership structure and how you're sourcing the funds for the business, which, as you've just described, you'll be receiving an investor payment. So if you will be willing to look at providing those details within the application, we can certainly look to put that forward for consideration. Not a very black and white answer there, I know, but hopefully that gives a bit of colour as to how we might be able to support. But because there isn't the 12 months there would be no guarantees that we would be able to onboard you, if that makes sense.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I've got more than 12 months as a incorporated company, but no revenue.
I see.
Thanks, Louise.
Okay, I think I misunderstood the question slightly there. So if you do have 12 months incorporation, then absolutely we would look to support you without the revenue that you've just described, but we would then look at detailed due diligence on how you're receiving that cash to come in to reach the 50,000 criteria. So I'm very sorry I misunderstood the question there, but yes, let's have a chat if you'd be willing to.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Neil.
Yeah, Louise Olle, thank you. Great presentation. I'm a bit of a geek in financial services design, having had leadership roles at UBS, Barclays, Barclaycard, to name but a few. I just put in the chat actually something I thought that was really positive. Is I love all the new startup banks, but there's this organisation called Bank.Green that actually looks at how sustainable the investments of a bank are, and you score very highly. And to people like me nowadays, the ethics and etc. That's really important for these organisations, because Barclays score very badly. So yeah, I just thought that would be something to shout about, and well done, and I look forward to seeing you progress.
Thank you so much, Neil. Yes, so some of the things we're doing on the green finance is with commercial mortgage lending. If a property has a EPC rating of between A to C, they do receive a discount on the loan back to Alica. And we do look at green finance within our asset finance as well. But yes, we are looking at those things. I think being a smaller business, it is sometimes easier to discuss these, what should be current, but they are more forward thinking and clearly for the bigger banks and the bigger companies out there. But it's easier to discuss and implement stuff when you are a smaller business.
I think it would be a brilliant idea if Neil went in and had a chat with you guys.
Very open to putting you in touch with the right people here at Neil if you'd like to.
I think that would be a sterling idea. How do you feel about that, Neil?
I'd love to. Thanks, Holly. Yeah, no, I
let me do the intro on that, because you've picked up on that. I can't see anything on your website, Louise and Ollie, that shows that, and that's a very, very important point.
Yeah,
and a huge win over something like Barclays. I was talking to a founder yesterday who had a lot of problems with Barclays, and not only the relationship with Barclays, but in addition, all of their sort of lending policy and criteria. So if you've got something like that, why not shout about it? Well done, Neil. Yeah. I'll hook you up with Louise and Ollie. I think that would be a good shout.
No, I'm with you on Barclays, but I hope you still love the app, Ollie, because I did that. Okay.
Excellent.
Laura.
Hi, yeah, thanks ever so much for that. Really interesting. I just had a quick question around crypto, and I know that the UK banking industry is hemmed in with regulation. So I just wondered if there was any sort of thinking or any plans for crypto forward businesses, which we're not yet, but we're kind of doing the thinking around it. Yeah, just whether that was sort of on the horizon.
It's a great question, Laura. Thank you for it. So unfortunately, no, we don't deal with cryptocurrency. And the reason for that is being a relatively new bank, our reputation and risk appetite is quite vanilla because of that. Who knows, as the business grows in the next 5-10 years, where that might take us in terms of our appetite. But the reason we don't deal with crypto and certain other industries is because of being a relatively new bank and keeping that risk appetite very, very vanilla.
Sure. Thanks ever so much. Thank you.
Any final questions for the Alica team this morning? I think we've exhausted that. We'll share your slides, Louise. We'll put them on Circle and across the community. I'll make the intro for Neil to you guys, and we're going to give you a lot of big ups and love on LinkedIn in the next few days, aren't we, Gary? Along with our wonderful team, we'll get behind it, and we'll do that. So thank you very much. Very, 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 very good call. And if anyone wants an introduction to Alica, Louise and her team, please let us know.
And just to say thank you so much, Ollie, to yourself for organising this session, taking the time to meet with me, understand a bit more about Alica, and putting us out here to the community as well. I hope we are able to help, and yeah, look forward to talking with you all.